Sabbath peace. It's another opportunity for us to come in here and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues or a gift of prophecy or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. Let's go ahead and open up to, what you thinking?
I'm ripping my eyelashes off your eyes and you're going to see you laughing then. Why you get rid of my stash? I have no water down here.
There was no water in those bottles.
I guess I got to them all eventually.
What you thinking? What's something you read? What you got, baby?
2 Timothy verse. Chapter 2.
Shoot shot out of a cannon.
It's 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 6. Let's see what the book says.
Amen.
You don't know what you're doing with that thing tight. But you just letting it
She
on.
just got on the phone with somebody named Timmy.
Oh, please.
Timmy, turn. Know you with the burn.
Let it
Kill everybody, walk. You know what's as hot as I burn. It's running to BET. In the urn.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Them boy trash. Drink it.
The husbandman that labors must be first.
This is 2 Timothy chapter 2.
Yeah, I like that already. The husbandman would do what?
Verse 6. Yeah, you know the husbandman is.
The husbandman that labors must be first partaker of the fruits. Consider what I say.
Hold on now. You going somewhere with that. It say the husbandman. What did it say? The husbandman. You know what I'm saying? You see how that is? Look, he do what now?
That labors.
Boy, hush while the book talking.
Just wait a minute.
It say the husbandman that labors must what?
Must be first partaker of the fruits.
I don't know what they could be talking about.
No, you know what it says.
I don't know what they're talking about. There's a video going around. I saw a video going around, and it was a white lady, you know what I'm saying? And she is making some food, you know what I'm saying? Some nasty macaroni and cheese. In the midst of making that food, you know I gotta add to my checklist?
Turn it down.
Hit darn record. I add that to my checklist. So in the midst of making the darn food, she said, you know what I'm saying, let me get the food ready for the kids. And he was like, no, but he didn't know what he was darn talking about because he couldn't explain it. He's like, no, but you're supposed to make my plate first, right? So that thing sparked off this whole huge debate. I'm looking at the comments. It's like half and half. Like people, you know what I'm saying, no, you always make the man his food first. Your husband his food first. The other one's like, I always make the kid first. Me and my husband been together for 30 years. This, that, and other. And I ain't never fed him first. This, that, and other. At the end of the day, it just, you know what I'm saying, however y'all want that thing to flow in your house, however your husband want it in his house, whatever he go with, that's what it is. I know my wife make my stuff first sometimes she make the kid first. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the book say the husband and what? This ain't talking about the husband, by the way. It's talking about a worker, right? A husbandman is somebody who keeps the field. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the husband man, go ahead.
That labors must be first partaker of the fruits.
You better get that man his food first. That man, that's what he wants. That man wanna better get that man the darn food first.
So the husband's worker gets first dibs on food before the husband?
No, the person
that work.
Yeah, the person that's working the field.
Gets food first.
So in other words, what it's telling you is if you got a field, it wouldn't make sense that somebody else get to eat your field before you do. Right? That's why it's wrong for our slaves. They had us in there, you know, they had us out there slaving. Right? That's why it was wrong because we was keeping the field and all that, and guess who ate first? That's how it work. That's how it work. Keep going. Let's see what else we working with here. It's good.
Consider what I say, and the Lord give you understanding in all things.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that Yahushua, the Messiah of the seed of David, was raised from the dead according to my gospel.
Mm-hmm. According to who gospel?
My gospel.
Who is this writing?
Paul.
It's Paul writing. Notice Paul said it's his gospel. Let somebody say something crazy like that today. I'm telling you, the only way you're going to be saved is you come by my gospel. You the devil I worship, Jesus. You trying to say you darn Jesus, you ain't Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Because they ain't looking at the book. Paul said it's my gospel. Why could Paul say that?
Because he was sent in the place of Yahshua being an apostle.
He can say that. Grab what I want. John 17. About my words.
Oh yeah, the prayer.
It's John. Let's grab John chapter 17. I don't know what verse I want. Probably verse 10, verse 9 maybe. It's John chapter 17, maybe verse 9. Maybe 8. I'm gonna do a little bit of talking. It's John chapter 17. What I want, verse 8?
For I have given them unto the words which you gave me. They have received them, and have known surely that I came out from you. And they have believed that you did send me.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which you have given me, for they are yours.
Uh-huh.
And all mine are yours, and yours are mine, and I am glorified in them. And now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to you, Holy Father. Keep through your own name those whom you have given me, that they may be one as we are. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in my name. Those that you gave me I have kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled. And now I come to you, and these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I have given them your word, and the world has hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that you should take them out of the world, but that you should keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through your truth. Your word is truth.
He said, your word is true. Watch this.
As you have sent me into the world, even so have I also sent them into the world.
So just the same way the Most High Yah sent his son Yahushua into the world is the exact same way that he sent the disciples into the world, specifically the apostles, right? So now when Yahushua talk, guess whose word it is? Yahushua's word. So if he got sent that way, and really he said it was the Father's word, but he could say it's his word. So when he sent the apostles out, guess what they could say? My word. Right? Keep going, watch this.
And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth. Neither I pray for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word.
Right? So anybody who gonna believe, gonna end up believing on him through who word?
Their word.
He called it their word. So when Paul, see, that's why these people, they don't understand. Somebody might read what Paul said and be like, you know what I'm saying? No, it's my gospel, it's my gospel. And they think they're doing something. Like, nah. And then the next person might say, Paul is wrong for calling it his gospel. That's like, that's what a lot of Hebrew come there to get to teach. Paul called it his gospel. You know what I'm saying? See, that's why we don't go with Paul. Paul tried to change some stuff, this, that, and other. He called it his gospel. You believe Yahushua's gospel, brother, or you believe Paul's gospel? Right? That's where these people get it wrong. Well, the man said he gonna send them, and it's gonna be their word, which causes you to believe. That got that. Right? That got it. At the end of the day, this is what the book is talking about. It's talking about everything that we read, and what is it? Words of who?
Words of the apostles.
If it's in the New Testament, that's going to be words of the apostles. If it's in the Old Testament, that's going to be words of the prophet. Right? Every time, no matter what part of the book you're looking at, when you going to have God that scribbled something down in the book so you can get it? All of it got to come through a man. What I want, 2 Peter?
That's why Yahshua came.
That I want, 2 Peter?
About, what is it? All scripture.
Yeah. No. Yeah. What did you say? I can't remember what to say, but you know what I'm thinking about.
All scripture is They said it's not private interpretation?
Yeah.
I think that's all.
What is that, 2 Peter 2 or 1? It's probably 2 Peter 1, maybe verse 18.
It's 2 Peter, but I don't know.
Let me see. I was just reading it today. Yeah, it is 2 Peter.
1?
What is it?
I want to say 2 is talking about the
Yeah,
false
one,
prophet.
yeah, 2 Peter 1.
Verse 18?
20.
20?
Okay.
Oh, close. Give me 18 just because I said it. Oh, close. It's 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 18.
And this voice which came from heaven we learned, and we were there with him in the holy mount.
Peter is saying we was right there with him. He said, go grab me verse 16. Watch it. This boy Peter trying to tell you, I ain't following no cleverly devised scheme. Anybody come make this up? Watch this. Keep up.
For we have not followed cunningly devised fables, when we made known unto you the power and coming of our Lord Yahushua the Messiah, but were eyewitnesses of his majesty.
Right? He said, ain't nobody trick us. We not being conned by somebody. Nobody came around and come up with some nice story for us that we just fell for. He said, I was there. I saw the man. Tell us about it, Peter. Peter about to tell us about it.
For he received from God the Father honor and glory when there came such a voice from the excellent glory, this is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. And this voice which came from heaven we heard when we were with him in the holy mount. We have also a more sure word of prophecy.
He said, we have also, so on top of what we saw, we have also a more sure word of prophecy. You know what the problem is? Today, we tend, not we as in we, but we as in we. You know what I'm talking about? We tend to stop once we get something. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I get like a little vision, feel like the Most High God spoke to me, or if I see something, I feel like I saw the Most High God, I stop there. So Peter could have stopped there like, no, man, I saw him. Like I saw him with my own eyes. And he could have stopped there. He could have been like, man, I know what I'm doing. God approves of it because he wouldn't have let me see that. Right? He could have stopped there, but he didn't. He stacks it. He is like, but also, we have a more sure word of prophecy. When you talk about prophecy, I mean he getting to what?
Word.
That's word. You can't take an experience that you have and then use that to validate whatever you think is right. Right? I mean, you may be right, you may not be, but that experience can't be by itself to validate it. Not if you're trying to get somebody else to go along with it. When it comes to the word, you got to have at least 2 witnesses. So if you got this experience, great. Now your prophecy got to back up with it. Right? You got to look through the whole counsel of the word, and that thing got to line up. That thing, the whole thing got to line up with what you did, or what you said, or what you saw. Right? What you heard. Let's keep going. Watch this.
We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shines in a dark place, until the day dawn, and the day star arise in your hearts.
Why?
Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scriptures of any private interpretation. For the prophecy came not in old time by the evil of men, but holy men of God spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost.
Everything that we read came from holy men moved by Most High God. And they spake by what?
The Holy Ghost.
I got that. Everything we look at is going to come from a prophet or it's going to come from an apostle. It's their words. Most High God got to give it to them.
Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy, and the spirit of prophecy is subject to the prophets. I think that's right. You know what I'm saying?
That they got to line up.
Paraphrase.
They got to stack. That's why Moses had to come first. Had to lay the law. What's the law? Got to be the foundation. How you going to start building you ain't got no foundation? That's what he was looking at. Moses was looking at, you notice Moses after that, the Most High God gave it to him and he put together the tabernacle. He had to build it. Even when he was building the tabernacle, you had to get the foundation right, and then you had to put on top of it and make sure it stacked well. Otherwise, you're going to look crazy. They're going to be toppling over and all types of stuff. Law had to come. Lay down the ground. Let's get all the mess up. Let's clean everything up first. Right? After the law come, now we can build on top of it. So you got prophets after prophets after prophets after prophets after prophets after prophets. Okay, then Yahushua comes, sit on top of that. Then you got the apostles. Right? That's how you stack.
The prophets never contradicted Moses. The prophets would always say, remember what Moses was saying.
The whole New Testament is pointing back to what? The law. The prophets. Got to. And they prophesying about them. Right? Let's what else we got right there? We finish it out?
Yeah.
All right, let's grab this 1 Kings chapter 20. So last week, what did we talk about? Because I can't remember. Excuse me. What we talking about? We definitely got our kings, right? We know we talked about Omri and Ahab. Now I remember. So Ahab, we talked about Ahab. What happened?
Elijah just got back.
Elijah, right? Didn't Elijah pop out, just come up out of nowhere? We ain't know nothing about Elijah. We ain't learned about Elijah. Daddy, mama, book just pop up. Elijah just came out. Hey, it ain't gonna rain, y'all. Then after that, Most High God told him to go hide by the brook. So he went by the brook, a little bit of water. He got fed by a little bird, right? Then after that, after he got fed by the bird, he went and he saw who? Who did he go see? A widow, right? And was she in Israel or out?
Out.
She was out, right?
Excited.
She went out. Okay, so he went to go see this widow. While seeing this widow, the widow had faith. Then he came back, and you remember he met with what king?
Ahab.
With King Ahab, right? After he met with King Ahab, he told King Ahab, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and put your prophets against me, and let's see what happens. So you remember they set up the two altars, put water around his, and he was like, you know what I'm saying, watch the Most High God lick up the water. So when they did it, you know what I'm saying, he started mocking them, talking about, oh, what? Maybe your God is away. Maybe he's asleep. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why he ain't answering y'all. They was out there for like 12 hours. So he did it. Most High God answered right away, licked up the water. That thing was a done deal. Right? Now after that, he told the people to go kill the prophets. All right, so that's where we left off. We're going to skip a little bit, but we're going to pretty much pick up from there. So this is 1 Kings chapter 20, verse 1. 1 Kings chapter 20, verse 1. Matter of fact, let's jump on down to verse 28, actually. 1 Kings chapter 20, verse 28.
And there came a man of God and spake unto the king of Israel and said, Thus says the Lord, because the Syrians have said, The Lord is God of the hills, but he is not a God of the valleys, therefore will I deliver all this great multitude into your hand, and you shall know that I am the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And they pitched one over against the other 7 days. And so it was that the 7th day the battle was joined, and the children of Israel slew of the Syrians 100,000 footmen in 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest fled to Aphek into the city. And there a wall fell upon 27,000 of the men that were left. And Ben-Hadad fled and came into the city into an inner chamber. And his servant said unto him, Behold, now we have heard that the king of the house of Israel are merciful kings. Let us, I pray thee, put sackcloth on our loins and ropes on our heads, and go out to the king of Israel. Peradventure he will save your life.
Mm-hmm.
So they girded sackcloth on their loins and put ropes on their heads, and came to the king of Israel and said, Your servant Ben-Hadad says, I pray thee, let me live. And he said, Israel he yet alive? Is he yet alive? Sorry. He is my brother. Now the man did diligently observe whether anything would come from him, and did hastily catch it. And they said, Your brother Ben-Hadad. Then he said, Go ye, bring him. Then Ben-Hadad came forth to him, and he caused him to come up into the chariot. And Ben-Hadad said unto him, The cities which my father took from your father I will restore, and you shall make streets for you in Damascus, as my father made in Samaria. Then said Ahab, I will send you away.
Here comes that place, Samaria again, right? Y'all remember Samaria? Mm-hmm. What did we learn about Samaria? Who established Samaria? All right, which one of our kings set up Samaria? Wasn't it Omri?
Just talked about that.
Yeah, so Omri, right? Remember, Omri came through after killing Zimri. All right, so Omri came through and he set up a Samaria. He went in Samaria and he started to set it up. Then after that, the book told us Omri was worse than all of who? All the kings that came before him, right? All right, so Omri was the worst one. Then Omri had a son named Ahab. Then the book came back and was like, Ahab was the worst. He worse than anybody who came before him. So Ahab is outdoing everybody when it comes to being wrong, right? Let's hear about it. So Ahab did what now?
And then said Ahab, I will send you away with this covenant. So he made a covenant with him and sent him away.
Mm-hmm.
And a certain man of the sons of the prophet said unto his neighbor in the word of the Lord, Smite me, I pray thee.
Mm-hmm.
And the man refused to smite him. Then said he
Watch what happened to him.
Because you have not obeyed the voice of the Lord, behold, as soon as you are departed from me, a lion shall kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he was departed from him, a lion found him and slew him.
I think got that. Imagine somebody coming up to you talking about, I hit me real quick. Like, man, I ain't about to hit you. Okay, now a lion about to get you. You know how fast I turn around and sock them in their darn mouth? I just, BOOM! You know what I'm saying? Be like, is it too late? You know what I'm saying? He probably would have told me it's too late. That thing ain't gotta happen though. Most High God said go ahead and hit him. Remember, if Book don't say that he walked up to him and was like, the Most High God said hit me. He just said, smite me real quick. That's how the Most High God said. You gotta understand, the God that we dealing with, a lot of people paint God to be out, you know what I'm saying, whatever. The God that we dealing with, set your butt up. Quick, over little stuff. Right? Let's keep going. Let's watch it.
Then he found another man and said, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man smote him that in smiting him, he wounded him.
Look at that. You see somebody get ate by a lion, just because they ain't hit him, you go to the next person, what do you think he gonna do? Why, he probably hit him before he can even finish his smite. Bah! You know what I'm saying? What you talking about? That thing ain't no problem. Let's hear about it. What else happened?
So the prophet departed and waited for the king by the way and disguised himself with ashes upon his face.
Okay.
And as the king passed by, he cried unto the king, and he said, Your servant went out into the midst of the battle, and behold, a man turned aside and brought a man unto me and said, Keep this man.
Mm-hmm.
If by any means he be missing, then shall your life be for his life,
Mm-hmm.
or else you shall pay a talent of silver. And as your servant was busy here and there, he was gone. And the king of Israel said unto him, So shall your judgment be. Yourself has decided it. And he hasted and took the ashes away from his face, and the king of Israel discerned him that he was of the prophets. And he said unto him,
Now rewind that thing one more time. Go back about two, 3
And as
verses.
the king passed by, he cried unto the king and said, Your servant went out into the midst of the battle, and behold, a man turned aside and brought a man unto me, and said, Keep this man, if by any means he be missing, then shall your life be for his life, or else you shall pay a talent of silver.
Y'all understand what's going on here, right? He go up to somebody, he tell him hit me, make himself look hurt. Then he goes up to the king and he says, what now? Read it again.
Your servant went out into the midst of the battle, and behold, a man turned aside and brought a man unto me,
Right?
and said, Keep this man.
All right.
If by any means he be missing, then...
So he's saying, I went out to the battle. Then somebody came to me, and they brought somebody with them. And they said, here, keep this man. Right? So I'm in the battle. They brought me somebody to protect. He said, and what else after that?
If by any means he be missing, then shall your life be for his life, or else you shall pay a talent of silver.
So he gave me this man to protect. But if he end up missing, then I gotta pay my life for his. Right? So if I don't protect him, then I owe. Let's see.
Or else you shall pay a talent of silver. And as your servant was busy here and there, he was gone. And the king of Israel said unto him, So shall your judgment be. Yourself has decided it.
The king of Israel looked at me and like, what you telling me all this for?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's on you.
You know what I'm saying? Your own judge. That's how it's gonna be. You decided it. Right? You agreed to that deal. Now you gotta uphold it. Now watch what the Most High God say.
And he hasted and took off the ashes from his face, and the king of Israel discerned that he was one of the prophets.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto him, he said unto him, Thus says the Lord, because you have let go out of your hand a man whom I appointed to utter destruction,
Mm-hmm.
therefore your life shall go for his life, and
Mhm.
your people for his people.
Ben Hadad, we didn't read the backstory to it, we skipped it. But Ben Hadad, the man that he let go, all right? He was a man that the Most High God set up for destruction. Right? So when he looking at it, he looking like, oh, so you understand when it come to you giving the judgment, that thing makes sense. When it come to what I told you to do, then now all of a sudden it's a problem. Right? You can't uphold what we do. It's okay, well now it's your life then. Now you owe. Right? Grab Matthew. Matthew chapter 7, give me verse 1. This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 1.
Judge not that ye be not judged.
Mm-hmm.
For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged, and with what measure you meet, it shall be measured to you again.
Right? So that's exactly what the Most High God tried to show him. Right? He asked him a question. He played out a scenario for him and asked him a question. How you see it? Oh, that's how you see it? Oh, good. That's exactly how I'm going to see your butt. Right? It may have gone totally different if he answered it mercifully. Oh, man, he got to give you another chance. Right? Most High God would have to try to catch him up a different way. Right? But you look at it, okay, that's how you judge. Good. You have the right. I know that you can think right. Now you've proven that you can think right. I know that. Now I'm going to get your darn butt. Right? Same way we do our kids sometimes. You set our kids up, so you knew you were doing the wrong thing. Oh, okay, good. Get your butt in there so I can whoop your butt. No, I'm just saying in general. I'm not going to actually whoop your butt. That daddy boy though. Grab let me see what we got here. Grab Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 22. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 22. How you gonna be a mama boy? You supposed to be a daddy boy. You supposed to be daddy boy. You gonna be mama's boy. Your mama don't even mess with you like that. Alright, well, whatever. Suit yourself. It's Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 22.
If a man be found lying with a woman married to her husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman.
Okay, so hold on. Let's make sure. Let's read that one more time. We gotta read it slowly. If a man be found
lying with a woman married to her husband,
okay,
then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shall you put away evil from Israel.
So let's be clear. It said if a man be
found. And
what is this man doing when he found?
Lying with a woman.
Then how many people die in that situation?
2.
All right, go to John chapter 8, verse 1. It's John chapter 8, verse 1.
Yahshua went into the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again to the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery, and they had...
It was a woman taken in adultery. Keep reading.
And they said unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Yahshua stooped down, and with his finger wrote on the ground, as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself, and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast the stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convinced by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last.
How many people did they bring?
The one.
Book say if a what?
Man be found lying with a woman.
So first of all, he said if the man is found and he's lying with the woman. That means they found both of them. Right? But it's the man that he pointed out. And they had the nerve to bring who?
The woman.
Just the woman. Right? Alright, keep going.
And when they heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Yahshua was let alone, and the woman standing in the midst. When Yahshua had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those your accusers? Has no man condemned you? And she said, No man, Lord. And Yahshua said unto her, Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more.
What do we think that's a demonstration of? What would we call that, what he just did?
They would say it's mercy.
Yeah.
Mercy. Mercy. Do we agree with that?
Yes and no.
I don't know. Where's the no coming from?
Because it wasn't what they were doing wasn't according to the law, so he wouldn't be able to He wouldn't be able to execute that judgment because he didn't see it. He wasn't there. He didn't take it. He said, "Man be found, man and woman." And you got to bring them both. Everything about the situation just contradicted the law, so it wouldn't be lawful for him to stone him.
It's mercy by law. Right? He used the letter of the law to have mercy on this woman. Right? It could have been a different ways to handle it. Where was the man? Let's go find the man. Then you find the man. Okay, now let's go. If he wanted to get at it, then he could have made that thing happen. But his whole thing was, let's have mercy. Only way I can have mercy, I got to do it within the law. So now it takes us back to Ahab. Right? When the prophet spoke to Ahab, and Ahab gave that answer, his answer was right. If he had tried to give mercy by saying the wrong thing, right? By saying, "Nah, you know what? Even though you agreed to that, it don't matter." Sure, that's mercy, but at the same time, that's against the law, right? If we read Numbers 30, we ain't got to get it, but the number 30 it tell if a man make a vow, right? He made that thing, you locked in that thing. Man, make a vow, you locked in that thing, right? So sure, that would have been mercy, but it would have been against the law. So then guess what? Most High God would have had you on that. Oh, your judgment ain't even righteous. Right? You don't even see things clearly. That's why we look at Matthew chapter 7. That thing say, get the mote out of your eye so you can see clearly. Because if you ain't see clearly, you can't even judge. Right? Let me see. What else we got there in John 8? At the end of it?
Yeah, that was it.
All right, grab Deuteronomy chapter 19 real quick. It's Deuteronomy chapter 19.
For the record, if everything would have been according to the law in that situation, she probably would have been stoned.
Yeah, she would have been told. If she was caught in adultery with a man, and they both brought her, and there was more than one witness, books say got to be stoned, ain't no question about it. But would have been out of there. Right? Her and the man. Boom! Slapped in the head with no rock. Bam! Bam!
That's a terrible way to die.
Yeah, but, you know what I'm saying? She's like, let the first one kill me. You know what I'm saying? That thing hit you in like the elbow, hit you in your funny bone the first time. That's a cold game. And now you're going like that. Then that next one going to hit you right here. Bow!
Who do you want to call?
Exactly. You know what I'm talking about? Exactly. You want to call a whole lot of people in that situation. What did I say? The Deuteronomy 19:15.
19:15.
Mm-hmm. Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 15.
One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity, or for any sin, in any sin that he sins. At the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established.
All right? So that means when all those people walked away, guess what? He can answer. Who are your accusers? Nobody left to accuse you? All right. Don't sin no more. Right, you see it though. Don't your butt sin no more though. Go on. You got off this time. Don't your butt sin no more.
It said sin no more, not try not to sin no more. Not it's impossible to stop sinning, but try your best. It said sin no more.
It depends on what version you read. Because if you read the New Christianized Standard, you know what I'm saying, evangelicized, you know what I'm saying, version, you might see some of that in there. You know what I'm saying? But you read just the book, that thing, you ain't gonna find it. Alright? Let's see what we got. It's where we at? 1 Kings 20, go to 2 Chronicles. It's 2 Chronicles 16. 2 Chronicles chapter 16. I'm gonna have a 4-year-old breastfeeding with a diaper on.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad now to have a 2-year-old, 2.5 years old, and still peeing on his darn self. That thing don't make no darn sense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Still peeing on the darn self. Jeez, bro.
It's embarrassing.
And climbing in my darn bed every night.
It's pretty bad.
It's alright though. She good for like 1 week. 1 week, she is on it. Wake me up in the middle of the night, yelling at the kids and doing all that stuff. I was sleep in your own room. That thing lasted about a week though. You know what I'm saying? That thing get hard. You know what I'm saying? That thing get hard. That's alright, baby. I'm behind you every step of the way.
It's cool if you just want to change the diapers forever. That's cool if you want to, you know. Ain't nothing wrong with it. If you cool with changing his diapers forever, that's okay. Cause you cool with that load. I get it.
Nothing to do with our kids sleeping in their own room. You seem to be cool changing diapers your whole life.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh okay.
That boy factory, yo. That's what I'm talking about.
Back to back of them.
Got them things on the assembly line. Arm, head, leg. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Them things.
Your clothes.
Them things on the assembly line.
And then my lashes coming right off as soon as I get off the toilet.
This is 2 Chronicles chapter 16.
You mad at me? What verse?
Verse 1.
In the 6th and 13th year of the reign of Asa.
Uh-oh. In the 6th, 13th year and reign of Asa. Keep going. This over here, Asa, king of Judah.
Baasha, king of Israel, came up against Judah and built Ramah to the intent that he might let none go out or come in to Asa, king of Judah. Then Asa brought out silver and gold out of the treasures of the house of the Lord and of the king's house, and sent to Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, that dwelt at Damascus, saying, there is a league between me and you, and there was between my father and your father. Behold, I have sent you silver and gold. Break your league with Baasha, king of Israel, that he may depart from me. And Ben-Hadad hearkened unto King Asa, and sent captains of his armies against the cities of Israel. And they smote Ion, and Dan, and Abel Naim, and all the store cities of Naphtali. And it came to pass when Baasha heard it, that he left off building of Ramah, and let his work cease. And Asa the king took all Judah, and they carried away the stones of Ramah, and the timber thereof, wherewith Baasha was building. And he built there with Geba and Mizpah. And at that time Hanani the seer came to Asa king of Judah, and said unto him, because you have relied on the king of Syria, and not relied on the Lord your God, therefore is the host of the king of Syria escaped out of your hand. Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubims a huge host with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet because you did rely on the Lord, he delivered them into your hand.
So he trying to let them know, he like, you done been up against way better people than these. You out here trying to cut deals with them. Now, what you cutting deals with them for? Because you rely on them, now I'm going to give you over. Right? Let's see.
For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself.
He said the eyes of the Lord run to and fro. That means back and forth throughout the whole world. Looking for what?
To show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect towards him.
Right? He just looking for opportunity like, oh, that's one. Just to show up. You know? Back and forth throughout the world. Ah, that's a good one. Let me do that one. He show up and do some type of miracle. Show us how we can rely on him. Yeah, that's all I'm doing. I'm just looking back and forth. Waiting for somebody to be so weak, so toe up, such a messed up situation that now they can just be like, oh, I can rely on him. But we you know what happened? We start cutting deals before we can get there. It's like, ooh, it's getting too uncomfortable. Let me start cutting a deal. Let me start compromising. Let me start doing something different. It's just getting too much for me right now. Let me just, you know what I'm saying? Let me start changing up. All right? All right, let's see. Keep going.
Whose heart is perfect towards him.
Mm-hmm.
You have done foolishly. Therefore, from henceforth you shall have wars.
Mm-hmm.
Then Asa was wroth with the seer, and put him in a prison house, for he was in a rage with him because of this thing. And Asa oppressed some of the people at the same time. And behold, the acts of Asa, first and last, lo, they are written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. And Asa in the 39th year of his reign was diseased in his feet, until his disease was exceedingly great. Yet in his disease he sought not to the Lord, but to the physicians. And Asa slept with his fathers, and died in the 114th year of his reign.
All right, that's Asa. So 1 Kings.
40th year of his reign.
This is 1 Kings chapter 21. 1 Kings chapter 21. Give me verse 1. It's 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 1. Try to shoot through that.
And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard which was in Jezreel, hard by
Body. Okay.
hard by the place of Ahab king of Samaria. And Ahab spake to Naboth, saying, Give me your vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, and because it is near unto my house. And I will give you for it a better vineyard than it. Or, if it seem good to you, I will give you the worth of it in money. And Naboth said to Ahab, The Lord forbid me that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto you. And Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him.
So y'all see what happened just now, right? You had the king, like, you know what I'm saying? It's my city. It's my country. What you talking about? So he go in like, man, I like your vineyard, man. You got a real nice vineyard. Go ahead, let me get it. Yeah, neighbor was like, what's his name, neighbor? Neighbor was like, that don't make sense, because this got passed down to me from my daddy, and then I expect to pass this down to my boys. So no, I can't. I just don't see. I don't think that's appropriate. I can't do that.
In the law, you wasn't supposed to do that anyway. You
Right.
keep the inheritance in the tribe.
I mean, you could get some stuff. You can get some stuff to people, but still at the same time, he's just like, I just don't think it's appropriate, right? I don't think it's appropriate for me to just like give this to you. I mean, it's how I wanted to do it, right? So Ahab, man, he tore up by that thing. Like, man, I really wanted that vineyard. I really wanted it. Watch what happened.
And Ahab came to his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I will not give you the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. But Jezebel his wife came to me and said unto him, Why is your spirit so sad?
So his wife Jezebel came to him. She's like, why your spirit so sad? That thing didn't make no sense to her. Watch this.
And he said unto her, Because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite, and said unto him, Give me your vineyard for money, or else if it please thee, I will give you another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give you my vineyard. And Jezebel his wife said unto him, Don't you now govern the kingdom of Israel?
She's like, don't you know this is your country?
Arise and eat bread, and let your heart be merry. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite.
She said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it.
So she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters unto the elders and the nobles that were in the city dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letter, saying, Proclaim a fast and set Naboth on high among the people. And set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him to bear witness against him.
When they say sons of Belial, what is it talking about?
Like worthlessness, like no low lives.
That's right. All right, he say sons of worthlessness is what it's talking about. Just like he said, low lie, right? Just some guys that just with the, just with whatever, desperate guys, right? Drake on that one song, what did he say?
Do it for Louis belt.
Yeah, I do it for a Gucci or a Louis belt. You know what I'm saying? That's sons of Belial. You know what I'm saying? You got somebody that kill you over a darn Louis belt? Let me tell you something. Them is sons of darn worthlessness. You know what I'm talking about? That's what he's talking about. All right, so that's what you get. You get somebody, you know what I'm saying? Ahab wife, you know what I'm saying, Jezebel, she went to go get a couple guys that'd do it for a Louis belt. You know what I'm saying? And sent them on down there to Naboth. Let's see what happened.
To bear witness against him, saying, You did blaspheme God and the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he may die. And the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles who were the inhabitants of the city, did as Jezebel had sent unto them, and as it was written in the letters which he had sent unto them. They proclaimed a fast and set Naboth on high among the people. And there came in 2 men, children of Belial, and sat before him. And the men of Belial witnessed against him, even against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth did blaspheme God and the king. Then they carried him forth out of the city and stoned him with stones that he died.
What does that sound like?
False witness. Sound like y'all should.
Oh, I think y'all might have missed it. Go back. Watch this. Go back like 3 verses.
They proclaimed a fast. And
they proclaimed a fast.
And set Naboth on high among the people.
And they set him where?
High among the people.
I mean, when they had y'all sure they lifted his butt up, didn't they? All right, let's see.
And there came in 2 men, children of Belial, and sat before them.
All right. Then there were 2 men. Wasn't it 2 guys on the side of Yahushua? All right, let's hear what else.
And the men of Belial witnessed against him, even against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth did blaspheme God and the king. Then they carried him forth out of the city.
Didn't they accuse Yahushua of blasphemy? Keep going.
That he died. Then they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead. And it came to pass, when Jezebel heard that Naboth was stoned, and was dead, that Jezebel said to Ahab, Arise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, which he refused to give you for money.
She said, now
Naboth
it's
is
yours.
not alive, but dead.
She said, now it's yours. So Jezebel, that was a bad little lady there. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't no regular little lady. That was a bad little lady. You know what I'm saying? Ahab may have had like a little bit of a conscience, but she didn't. You know what I'm saying? She is like, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. Now, he just as culpable because he just sat back and let it happen. Right? He ain't standing in the way of none of it, so he just as culpable. But you just see what type of person he had in this corner. All right? Grab Matthew chapter 26. Let's see if we can dive into that a little bit deeper. It's Matthew chapter 26. All of us got to talk about Yahushua. Whole book. It's Matthew chapter 26. Let's jump on down to the witnesses. Let's jump on down there. It's Matthew chapter 26, verse 59. Matthew chapter 26, verse 59. You know what I mean?
Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Yahushua to put him to death.
Right? Ain't that what they tried to do to neighbor?
But found none.
They told a whole bunch of lies on neighbor. Right? All right, but they didn't find none. Let's see.
Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet they found none.
Right? A bunch of people came, but they didn't find nobody that they lies would hold up. Right? Let's see.
At the last came 2 false witnesses.
At the last came how many?
2 false witnesses.
Goodness gracious. 2 false witnesses came at the last, and then what?
And said, This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to build it in 3 days.
Uh-huh.
The high priest arose and said unto him, Answerest thou nothing? What is it then which these witnesses against you?
Uh-huh.
But Yahushua held his peace, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure you by the living God that you tell us whether you be the Messiah, the Son of God.
Mm-hmm. So he said, I adjure the who adjured him?
The high priest.
The high priest got like a little bit of authority.
Yeah, you got a lot of them.
That boy, the high priest tell you to do something, guess what you gotta do? I mean, but this is Jesus though, right? It's the Son of God. He ain't gotta do nothing that the high priest tell. Let's see what happened there. Let's see how Jesus just looked at him like he had craved him, like, no. Let's see.
Yahushua said unto him, You have said, Nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter you shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven.
You see, Yahushua answered this, but as evil as the high priest is, he had the authority. So when it came down to it, Yahushua was like, I gotta do that. Otherwise, what could they accuse Yahushua of doing?
Breaking the law.
Right? Somebody could have misconstrued that and be like, he disrespecting the high priest. That's against our law. He can't afford that. He's like, no. Just for appearances, let me make sure I answer you.
Yeah, even Paul on accident spoke to the high priest in a way that he didn't know that was the high priest.
That's right. He called him a whitewashed wall. Right? He had to come back and be like, well, I didn't know it was him. I didn't know that was the high priest. Right? He had to repent of that thing right away. I didn't know. I'm saying, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I wish I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that was the high priest. All right? It's against our law. Let's see. Keep going.
Then the high priest ripped his clothes, saying, He has spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses?
Why do we need any more witnesses? And that's it. That's what they got. That's what they got them for. They end up putting them up there. Just like Nathan. Right? Give me 21. It's Matthew chapter 21. Matthew chapter 21. Give me about verse 33. Matthew chapter 21, verse 33. Sitting here to hear that book? That's right, boy. Don't worry, you ain't gonna have no choice soon.
Hear another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard and hedged it round about.
It was a certain householder that planted a vineyard and he hedged it round about.
And digged a winepress in it, and built a tower, and let it out to husbandmen, and went into a far country.
Mm-hmm.
And when the time of the fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the husbandmen that they might receive the fruits of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the husbandman took his servants and beat one, and killed another, and stoned another.
Mm-hmm.
Again he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto him likewise. But last of all he sent unto them his son, saying, They will reverence my son.
He said, they beat up all my servants. But if I send my son down there, they definitely take care of him. So he sent his son down there.
But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, "This is the heir. Come and let us kill him and let us seize on his inheritance."
Mm-hmm.
And they caught him and cast him out of the vineyard and slew him.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Lord therefore of the vineyard comes, what will he do unto those husbandmen? They said unto him, He will miserably destroy those wicked.
Whose judgment is this?
This is the disciples. Oh no, the people that he was asking.
It's the people,
Yeah.
right? He asked them. He put this parable out to them, and then he asked them a question. He said, "What's gonna happen?" Right? Because just like we read, it's gonna be based off of your judgment. He know that you know what's right. As soon as you say it, it's like, "Oh, that got that." Let's hear about it.
They said unto him, He will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruits in their seasons.
Mm-hmm. So they knew. Why? What happened now?
And Yahshua said unto them, Did you never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected, the same has become the head of the corner?
Mm-hmm.
This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore say I unto you, the kingdom of God shall be taken from you, and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof. And whosoever shall fall on this stone shall be broken, but on whomsoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder.
And that's how the Gentiles come into the picture. Right? That's how you get the Jews, the white Jews, and they think they us, and the world think they us. That's how you get the Christians and the white Christian church, and us being taught to be a part of the Christian church. And they think they, you know what I'm saying, they've replaced us, and they haven't really replaced us. All these different things. The Most High God said, "Oh, I'm going to give it out to somebody who's going to bring the fruit out." Right? Somebody going to bring the fruit out. Don't worry about it. I'm going to give it to somebody else. Right? Now they end up start doing the same thing that we start doing. So guess what's going to happen to them? They're going to have to give it to somebody else. They'll have to bring the fruit out. To the Jew first, and then the
Gentile.
That's how it works. You got to pay attention. You got to hang on to every word that the Most High God say. He giving you the whole game. You just got to hang out. He told you to the Jew first. So what happened to us first? We had it. He took it away from us and gave it to somebody else. And then next, it happens to the Gentile. So he gave it to them. They have it. They didn't do the right thing with it. It's about to be taken away from them and then given to somebody else. Right? To the Jew first, and then it happens to the Gentile. Right? All right. Grab 1 Kings chapter 22. Did we finish 21? It don't matter. It's 22. It's 1 Kings chapter 22. Try to cover a little bit of ground today. Trying to get us to a new king.
Now Ahab takes he had a little cool.
You gotta run.
Yeah. And they continued 3 years without war between Syria and Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass on the 3rd year that Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, came down to the king of Israel.
Uh-oh. New king alert. Remember, King Asa died. Right? So King Asa died. That brings us to Jehoshaphat. That brings us to King Jehoshaphat, the son of Asa. Right? Let's hear about it. What's wrong?
And it came to pass on the 3rd year that Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, came down to the king of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And the king of Israel said unto his servants, Know ye that Ramoth in Gilead is ours? And we be still, and take it not out of the hand of the king of Syria.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto Jehoshaphat, Will you go with me to battle to Ramoth Gilead?
Mm-hmm.
And Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, I am as you are. My people is your people. My horses is your horses. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, Inquire, I pray thee, at the word of the Lord today.
Right, so Jehoshaphat told him, okay, look, we're going to go out here and fight. But why don't you ask to hear what the Most High God got to say about this? Let's see what happened.
And the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men.
Right, so Ahab gathered the prophets together. But you remember Ahab, what kind of prophets did he run with? A bunch of false prophets, remember? You remember Elijah came up to Ahab and he was like, bring all your prophets. And he brought a bunch of false prophets. Right? All right, so let's hear about it.
Then the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men, and said unto them, Shall I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, Go up, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king.
All right, so all the prophets talking about, yeah, go on, man. Y'all gonna get this thing. They making everybody excited, getting everybody all pumped up. Let's hear about it.
And Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of Yahuwah besides that we might inquire of him?
Right? They're like, oh yeah, none against your prophets. None against your prophets. Anybody prophet of Yahuwah around here? You know what I'm saying? We're looking for a Yahuwah prophet. Anybody? Right? Let's see. Let's see if Ahab had one on deck.
And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, There is yet one man, Micaiah, the son of Imlah, by whom we may inquire of Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate him, for he
said,
does not prophesy good concerning me, but evil.
I don't like him. He always saying something negative. Right? Let's hear about it.
And Jehoshaphat said, Let not the king say so.
Uh-huh.
Then the king of Israel called an officer and said, Hasten here, Micaiah, the son of Imlah.
Mm-hmm.
And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, sat each on his throne, having put on their robes in a void place in the entrance of the gate of Samaria. And all the prophets prophesied before them.
Uh-huh.
And Zedekiah, the son of Kenanah, made him horns of iron. And he said, Thus says the Lord, With these shall you push the Syrians until you have consumed them.
Mm-hmm.
And all the prophets prophesied so, saying, Go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into the king's hand. And the messenger that was gone to call Micaiah spake unto him, saying, Behold now, the words of the prophets declare good unto the king with one mouth. Let your word, I pray you, be like the word of one of them.
Right? They tried to coach him first. They said, listen, before you on up there now, everybody's saying the same darn thing. Right? Just let your word be just like them. Let's hear about it.
And Micaiah said, As the Lord lives, what Yahuwah says unto me, that will I speak.
Right? And listen, I'm only going to say what the man say to me. Right? Don't try to tell me what to say or what not to say. I'm only going to say what the man say to me. All right, let's hear it.
So he came to the king, and the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall we forbear?
Mm-hmm.
And he answered him, Go and prosper, for Yahuwah shall deliver it into the hand of the king.
Mm-hmm.
And the king said unto him, How many times shall I adjure you that you tell me nothing but that which is true in the name of Yahuwah?
Right? He knew he was being sarcastic. Right? So he was looking at him like, how many times I got to tell you, just tell me the darn prophecy. He already knew it was going to be negative. Let's hear about it.
And he said, I saw all Israel scattered upon the hills.
He said, I saw all Israel scattered on the hills like sheep.
That have no shepherd.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord said, These have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace.
Uh-huh.
And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, Did I not tell you that he would prophesy no good concerning me, but evil?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Hear thou, therefore, the word of the Lord.
Right, so then he kept going. He was like, okay, no. Here it is right here. Here's the word of Yahuwah. Right? Let's hear about it.
I saw the Lord sitting on his throne,
He is sitting on the throne.
and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left.
The whole host of heaven there sitting on the right and the left. Watch
And
this.
the Lord said, Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?
Let me ask a question. When did Satan fall? Satan, they say he fell at the beginning of time because he was God's highest angel, right? And he, as the highest angel, he wanted to be God. Ain't that what that a myth go? He wanted to be God. His name used to be Lucifer, right? He wanted to be God. He's the highest angel. So God cast him out and made him a serpent. Then that's when he met Adam and Eve. That's how the story go, right? That was these people tell you. Then why in the world, when the Most High God talking right now, he said the whole host of heaven, and watch who's a part of this host of heaven.
And the Lord said, Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?
Mm-hmm.
And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner.
Mm-hmm.
And there came forth a spirit, and stood before the Lord, and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, How so? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets.
So what in the world is God doing with a lying spirit in heaven if he already kicked the devil out? That don't make no sense, would it? People don't know what they aren't talking about. All that stuff was going on. The devil, evil spirits, good spirit, all that was up in heaven. Right? All that thing was up around the Most High God. He said, who gonna do my bidding? Right? They just darn spirits.
Yep.
There to tempt people. He called out. You notice that it wasn't just one spirit that answered. When he called out, who gonna do it? He said, one answered on this manner, one. That means they had taken bid like, oh, I'm gonna get him like this. No, I'm gonna get him. No, let me get him like this. And then he heard the lion spirit. He said, that's what I want. Lion spirit, you can get him. So then that's how all these prophets ended up coming about. Right? The lion spirit. Let's keep going.
And he said, you shall persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. Now therefore, behold, the Lord had put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these prophets.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord has spoken evil concerning you.
Mm-hmm.
But Zedekiah the son of Kenaniah went near and smote Micaiah on the cheek and said, which way went the spirit of the Lord from me to speak unto you?
Right? He smacked him across the face. He was like, oh, well, where's the spirit of the Lord now? Right? He mocked them. Same thing they did with Yahushua. Right? Let's grab 2 Chronicles 17. End of that story though, Ahab but went out there and died.
What, 2 Chronicles?
Yeah, 2 Chronicles chapter 17. Verse 1. He's gonna try to cover some ground real quick.
Eli. Go, boy. Eli, your water bottle is downstairs. Go ahead.
And Jehoshaphat his son reigned in his stead, and strengthened himself against Israel, and he placed forces in the fenced cities of Judah, and set garrisons in the land of Judah, and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa his father had taken.
Right? So this is more about Jehoshaphat, kind of give us a little background on him.
And the Lord was with Jehoshaphat because he walked in the first ways of his father David, and sought not unto Baalim, but sought the Lord of his father, and walked in his commandments, and not after the doings of Israel. Therefore the Lord established the kingdom in his hand, and all Judah brought to Jehoshaphat presents.
Right? So that's why you see when Jehoshaphat went out there to talk to Ahab, he was like, oh, so we don't have no prophets of Yahuwah out here? Just one, we ain't got one prophet of you. I want to hear from him. Right? Because he wasn't going for that crazy stuff. He's out there trying to be political, like, yeah, hey, brother, how you doing? But at the same time, he's like, yeah, I know, no. I think we should go out there and fight. But let's see if we can talk to one prophet from Yahuwah. No, maybe. Right? He tried to get the information first. Let's see.
And all Judah brought presents to Jehoshaphat, and he had riches and honor and abundance. And his heart was lift up in the ways of the Lord. Moreover, he took away the high places and groves out of Judah. Also on the 3rd year of his reign, he sent to the princes, even to Ben-Hael, and to Obadiah, and to Zechariah, and to Nathaniel, and to Micaiah to teach in the cities of Judah. And with them he sent Levites, even...
He said what?
Levites.
Ooh.
Even Shemaiah, and Nathaniah, and Zebediah, and Asael, and Shemiramoth, and Jehohanan, and Adonijah, and Tobiah, and Tob Adonijah Levites, with them Elishama and Jehoram priests. And they taught in Judah, and had the book of the law of the Lord with them, and went about throughout all the cities of Judah, and taught the people. And the fear of the Lord fell upon the kingdoms of the lands that were round about Judah, so that they made no war against Jehoshaphat. And some of the Philistines brought Jehoshaphat presents and tribute, silver, and the Arabians brought him flocks, 7,700 rams, and 7,700 he-goats.
All right.
And Jehoshaphat waxed great exceedingly, and he built in Judah castles and cities of store, and he had much business in the cities of Judah. And the men of war, mighty men of valor, were in Jerusalem.
All right, so that's Jehoshaphat, right? Jump over to the next chapter. Chapter 18, verse 1. All right, give us a little bit of background on Jehoshaphat. We see, you know what I'm saying, he is a man of the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? So if we look at it, sins of the father, passed down. So boom, sin of the father, passed down to Solomon, then Rehoboam, then Abijah, 3rd generation, right? After that, we good with Asa. Asa was like, you know what I'm saying, kind of good. You know what I'm saying? Asa didn't do nothing big. You know what I'm saying? He just kind of made some missteps, right? Then you got Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat so far sound like the man, right? He said he went back to the first steps of his father. Talking about David, right? So let's hear about it. What else we got?
Now Jehoshaphat had riches and honor and abundance and joined in affinity with Ahab.
This 18?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He joined in affinity with Ahab.
And after certain years he went down to Ahab to Samaria. And Ahab killed sheep and oxen for him in abundance and for the people that he had with him, and persuaded him to go up with him to Ramoth Gilead.
Mm-hmm.
And Ahab, king of Israel, said unto Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, will you go with me to Ramoth Gilead?
Mm-hmm.
And he answered him, I am as you are, your people are my people, and we will be with you in war.
Mm-hmm.
And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, inquire at the word of the Lord today. Therefore the king of Israel gathered together the prophets, 400 men, and they said unto them, shall we go up to Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And they said, go up, for God will deliver it into the king's hand. But Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of Yahuwah besides that we may inquire of him?
This 18?
Yeah.
Give me 19. Maybe 19 is what I want. So that's Chronicles retelling of what we read in Kings already. Give me 19 verse 1.
And Jehoshaphat the king of Judah returned to his house in peace to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And Jehu the son of Hanani the seer went out to meet him and said unto King Jehoshaphat, should you help the ungodly and love them that hate the Lord?
This is what I wanted. He asked him a question. He said, should you help the ungodly and love them that hate the Lord? Right? He saw Ahab. He trying to be all political with him, but he saw Ahab had a whole bunch of what?
False prophet.
He saw it. He saw all the foolishness Ahab was done. He knew better because he set up his kingdom. He got all that foolishness out of his kingdom. So he's not like he didn't know better, but he went up there and he set his throne next to Ahab. And he entertained all of Ahab's stuff. Then he went to war with Ahab. Ahab got killed in the war. He didn't. Right? So then the prophet came up to him. He said, let me ask you a question.
Should you help the ungodly and love them that hate the
He
Lord?
said, should you help the ungodly and love the ones that hate God? Let's hear about it.
Therefore is wrath upon you from before the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, there are good things found in thee, in that you have taken away the groves out of the land, and have prepared your heart to seek God.
Right? So he acknowledged him like, you not, you doing what you're supposed to be doing. But you made a misstep and you got to pay for it. Right? Nobody gets by. You can do all this stuff, but nobody gets by. The man probably going to see the kingdom. Right? The man kept the commandments. Most like God was like, I just don't like how you stood yourself next to him like y'all was like partners. You put yourself in affinity with somebody who's completely against me, who's out here killing my prophets. His wife out here killing my prophets. You got the nerve to sit here and play around with this man? Now you legitimize. People look at you and be like, oh, well, he just like Jehoshaphat. Most like God was like, okay, well, because of that misstep, now I got to get your butt. Just a little bit. Right? No, you good. No, I like you. You doing a good job. I appreciate you. That was a bad move, though. Right? Most High God is fair. He point out the good. He acknowledged the good. He also gonna point out that bad. Right? Let's hear about it.
Nevertheless, there are good things found in you, that you have taken away the groves out of the land and prepared your heart to seek God.
Mm-hmm.
And Jehoshaphat dwelt in Jerusalem, and he went out again through the people from Beersheba to Mount Ephraim.
You good. Go to 1 Thessalonians for me. 1 Thessalonians, try to wrap this. So it's 1 Thessalonians chapter 3. 1 Thessalonians chapter 3. Give me verse, what's the last verse? Like 20?
1 Thessalonians chapter 3.
Yeah.
18.
18 is the last one?
No, that's second.
What is it, like 20? 19?
13.
13 is the last one? 13? Give me verse 11 then.
Now God himself and our Father and our Lord Yahushua.
Give me 2 Thessalonians. It must not be. Give me 2 Thessalonians chapter 3. Let's try verse 11. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 11.
For we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly, working not at all, but are busybodies.
Uh-huh.
Now them that are such, we command and exhort by our Lord Yahushua the Messiah.
What you got to do?
With quietness they work and eat their own bread.
Uh-huh.
But you, brethren, be not weary in well-doing. And if any man obey not our word,
If he don't obey our word,
by this epistle,
by this letter,
note that man and have no company with him, that he may be ashamed.
he said, take note of him and don't deal with him. For what reason? The whole purpose of the man to be ashamed.
Be ashamed.
Listen, there's a lot of things these Christians got wrong. Guess one concept they didn't get wrong. The concept they didn't get wrong. Excommunication. Right? That's one of the things a lot of Christians, they don't like the Catholics. No, they excommunicate people. You know, God accepts everybody. That's a lie. They got that from somewhere. Right? Now, they don't use it right. They got the concept right, but they don't use it right. Right? But that's how the devil works. He said, you know what? Let me get right ideas, make them look bad, so then now when you criticize it, guess what you're going to want to do? Oh, no, I'm throwing all that out. All of it's bad. Because you don't know the words to decipher what's good or bad. All you know is what feels and look bad. Right? So he make something right look bad. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of it. Let's see. Grab Matthew chapter 25. Matthew chapter 25. Verse 1.
Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. That they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oils in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom comes, go ye out to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out.
All right, they said, look, our lamps were going out. They wasn't prepared. They was like, man, give us they was foolish. Give us some of your oil, please. Let's see what the other one said. Let's see how they say, you know what? You know what I'm saying? It's better to give to receive. So let me go ahead and give you a little bit of this oil. Let's see how that's written in there.
But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you.
They said, that don't make no darn sense. It don't make no sense for me to give you something and then I no longer have enough to get what I need to get. Sure, it's good to sacrifice and to share and to give. To give to the point that I'm going to be in the same position that you in for me to need. That don't make no darn sense. I just don't think that makes sense. They said, not so. You know what I'm saying? Oh, not so. It don't make no sense, right? Let's see. Let's hear about it.
But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves.
Uh-huh.
And while they went out to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the other door was shut. And the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open unto us.
Uh-huh.
But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not.
You are.
Watch therefore, for you neither know the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man comes.
All right. Moral of the story: save your darn self. We can't be running around trying to get people, look, just please believe. No, we ain't got no time for that. Save your darn self. Make sure you good. Take the mote out your darn eye. Make sure you can see clearly. Then you can help other people. Make sure you have enough, though. You gotta make sure your oil, you know what I'm saying, your oil, you know what I'm saying, you got enough oil for you, then you can start helping other people with their oil. You ain't got enough for you know what I'm saying? If you ain't got enough to share, you just leave it alone. Just walk on in your own darn self. All right? Let's go ahead and finish it off with James. James chapter 5. James chapter 5, verse 19. I don't want nobody to be confused. It's James chapter 5, verse 19.
Brethren, if any of you do err from the truth and one convert him, let him know that he which convert the sinner from the error of his ways shall save a soul from death and shall hide a multitude of sins.
That's the business that we in. That's what we do. We're here to assist a brother, but not to the point where it calls our salvation to be in doubt. Right? It's the business that we in. It's a good thing to turn somebody from sin, right? Or to help them turn from sin, but not to the point where you lose yourself in it. All right? Any questions?